Yo, what's good? The Truth Hurts. I'm your host, Jeff Weiss.
I'm Rosecrans Vic.
I'm Miss Free. What's the deal?
And I'm new Cappadonna. Wu-Tang. What up?
Hey.
The slang reverend. The slick Rick of Staten Island.
Already spaghetti.
I love it.
Super fresh. I have to point out that we are kind of, matching.
We
right
blinging.
Here. We blinging. We blinged out. You know what I'm saying? And we got the Yankee fitted. So
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? I'm blinging on the Yankee fitted too. What you talking about?
That one look exclusive. That's not a regular one, is it?
Nah, you gotta know somebody that knows somebody.
They first started calling you like the slick Rick of Staten Island when you were like a kid, right?
Yeah, that was one of the titles, you know. But they used to. My brother, actually, I got my name from my younger brother. His name is the Boomer. He appeared in some of the videos like C.R.E.A.M. You know, we shot C.R.E.A.M in my mother's house.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But he gave me my name, Kappa Slapper. You know, he just started calling me that randomly out of nowhere. And it kind of, I didn't like it at first because I didn't definitely like the slapper part. I'm not into, laying my hands on no female, like slap who, Captain Slapper.
Right.
Like, and why, I asked him, why are you calling me that? He couldn't really give me an explanation. But eventually, after, a few months, I took the Kappa part, I didn't mind that. And I dropped the slapper part and put Dawn. So it was Cappadonna, and then everybody was a Don at that time. So I just, did some slang shit and put NA on the end. So that's how I got Cappadonna. I thought I created it, the name, but I kind of did, I believe, with the spelling part. But after about 15 years, I'm getting off the Verrazano Bridge, coming from Manhattan, and the first exit off the Verrazano Bridge is Father Cappadonna Boulevard. I'm like, I got back on
To see it again. You had to make sure.
Yo, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, how long this been here? I never seen it before.
Maybe it was like just lodged in your subconscious.
Yeah.
I didn't make the name.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, what does this mean? Is this a sign? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I did look it up. It's Italian, and it means head of the household.
Wow.
But it's spelled with one N, and instead of an A at the end, it's an O. So it's like Cappadonna.
Right.
You know what I
Because
mean?
like the A would make it more for like a female.
Right.
Like in like Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Vic, you know.
So with C.R.E.A.M, right? Didn't it come like part of it was inspired by like you had the line "Life is hectic" right at first, or was that a song?
Yeah. That's ill that you know about that. Well, that was the name of the song, "Life is Hectic," and it was more or less just a rap at that time. It wasn't even really a song. It was a rap. I may have had a verse. Deck may have had a verse, and Ray may have had a verse. It was just something that it was just a hobby that we picked up in the lobby. You know what I'm saying? But it wound up becoming an asset to the song "C.R.E.A.M," which the name C.R.E.A.M came from a friend of mine called Ray the Ruckus. Ray the Ruckus, he was the guy that introduced me to Method Man, and which was Shaolin or just Clifford at that time. Ruckus named Clifford too, so both of them name was Cliff. You know what I mean? And so yeah, my brother, he was good with the slang names, and I was good with the slang names too. But he created another language, the Tikal language.
Tikal.
Yeah, yes, and the method was marijuana. You know what I mean? And Tikal, and he spoke like that, and he used to break it down like, what we doing Tikal, method Tikal, like, so that's how Meth got his name. So it was ironic that me and Meth got our name from my brother.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And when you say brother, is that like your brother?
That's my physical brother. Yeah, we call him the Boomer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he also known as Loungin' Low.
Okay.
You know
Shout out to
saying?
him.
Yeah, he been in a couple of videos. He been in a few songs with me. And we got a video called Blood Brothers out. It's a double part song. But yeah, we great guy.
When did you know that like Wu-Tang was just like getting enormous and it was growing past, like, I'm sure you guys had your infamy in Staten Island, but like, when did you know it's like, okay, now it's going to New York, now it's like global, you know what I'm saying? When was that moment that you kind of had a realization?
I struggled with the realization of, I couldn't see that far, but I did know that we had an original sound, and we loved to do what we do as far as rap, and we did it daily. But the fact that stardom came, I was incarcerated. I probably was on Rikers Island at this time, maybe about 17 years old, and I seen, from the growth of everything, that happened with all of us getting together, more say my clan brothers, because like I said, I was still locked up, but I was a hood legend. You know what I mean? So these brothers, man, they was already Wu-Tang before I came into the game. I really wasn't. I was struggling with streets. I was, hustling in them streets hard, and I was struggling with rap and street life. And so I watched these dudes climb. The first video was Protect Your Neck. I happened to be there for that video and then got incarcerated again. Like I said, I was heavy in that street life. So I got a chance to witness my brothers on the screen before I even became a part of the conglomerate.
Right.
And my boys, brothers in jail used to be like, yo, that's your mans in them, right? That's Staten Island. I said, yeah, that's where we from, and yeah, that's my boys right there. Yeah, they doing their thing. And when I came home, I was working security guard for housing, and I got the opportunity from U-Guard coming to my job every day, trying to get me to go to the studio, which I was kind of reluctant to go because I loved my job.
As working security?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. A job's a job.
I couldn't believe in the transition, you know what I mean? I had a uniform on, like, with a badge and a walkie-talkie and all of that stuff. But that's the ironic part too, because I work for housing where I live. This is where, I was hustling at, and now I'm a caretaker for the building. Like, I'm out
Look
here.
Look at the turnaround.
Right. It was crazy.
In Park Hill.
That's right, in Park Hill.
Yeah.
So, I kind of had to swallow my pride to even get that job and to do that job because of where, I'm a street dude.
Right.
So it was like, oh, wow. Cap is doing this, but it inspired other, brothers and sisters and even some older folks to go ahead, because I was really getting a check.
Right.
I was getting a check. But I went to the studio with U-Guard. Lo and behold, one day he came, and I was like, you know what? I'll go by there. And I went by there. RZA was there by himself, so it was just me, RZA, and U-Guard. I heard the Ice Cream song with just Ray and Ghost. They just had a verse on there, and RZA was like, yo, throw a verse on here. I was like, no, I'm cool, because first of all, these guys is professionals to me.
Yeah.
I didn't have, and I didn't have an envious bone in my blood. I was so happy for their success and happy for what they was doing, but nevertheless, they was professionals to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional. The position, Ice Cream song, and how it was formed. When U-Guard came to my job as a security guard, and I went to the studio with them and heard this song, Ice Cream. Raekwon and Ghostface was on there with a verse. RZA invited me to indulge in this expertise, and I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like, you trying to get me to mess up somebody's project. You know what I mean? I'm not a professional. It's like, it gave me the energy, like, coming out of high school and Jordan just be like, yo, man, you want to play on the NBA?
Right.
You want to go play on the Bulls?
Right.
Yeah. Don't worry about college.
No practice.
You're my man. I got you.
Right.
It is that. Ray and Ghost.
Well, to be
Right.
fair, to his credit though, like, if you read interviews with all the other Wu-Tang guys, they would all say that like they looked up to him and like his slang and style was such a formative influence on him.
Yeah.
But it's just you being so humble. Honestly.
Not even just humble. The fact that I was battling with the streets and dealing with incarceration and all of these things at a very young age, it I was conflicted between the streets and rap, and I really didn't want to rap no more at this time because I'm trying to save myself as a young man from the street. I didn't have time to be dealing with anything else, let alone feeling like I had anything to offer, into the rap game. And my small amount of participation, that one verse, changed everything, and even with that, I didn't even know what 16 bars was. He was just, RZA was just like, just rap, I'll tell you when to stop. So I wrote that, of course, going off the energy that was already laid. And then Meth came in 15 minutes later and laid that hook. And I'm just looking at this dude like, did he just do that? Like, where'd you get that from? Like French vanilla butter, pecan chocolate deluxe, even caramel. So I'm like, wow. More of a reason why y'all sure y'all want me to get it.
Is you got like a super greedy person? Because it's like, how do you have like, Ray, Ghost, Method Man, RZA, Jizza, and then be like, no, we still need another great. Like, I'm still scouting. Like,
well, I don't think he was greedy. I think he just was like, he was consistent and just going to get Cap. I guess he wanted to be the one.
He wanted to get you.
Maybe responsible for that, because U-Guard used to do the beatbox for me when I used to rap. He was my beatbox dude, and I just basically taught him how to rap. And he used to be around me all the time, just writing down my slang, writing down words, and he used to have a whole book of that. And then he started forming his own rap style, and I was again impressed. And he was able to make it on Protect Your Neck, and because he was dealing with the hustle, the street life too. Yeah. So, but he still made it for Protect Your Neck. Yeah. Which was the first song from out of the Wu-Tang camp, and it was successful. And and I was grateful that he came and got me after after it was all said and done. But I still was like, yo, so after maybe, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks, RZA called me. He was like, yo, that song we did, Ice Cream, is a single. And I'm like, oh, that's great, man. Have fun with that. He was like, no, you gotta be down with this. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, you gotta, we gonna shoot a video. I was like, in front of people?
To come out?
You know what I mean? In front of people. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I could do that, bro. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Like I'm a security guard.
I wanted to ask you about that video because that video looks like the most fun video shoot in the history of music videos.
Right. Yeah. It does. It was so fun looking.
Like with
that was my first video though.
That's crazy.
So, that it was I mean, I had the jitterbugs, bro. It was fun when it was done. The process was like, yo, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess this up. We was on 125th Street. It was crowded out there. I was thinking like, yo, maybe I should just get low. I was thinking of an escape route. Wow. Like, yo, I don't know if I could do this. You know what I mean?
How long did it take? I
haven't been doing it.
Yeah. Right.
Like they not even seeing it. I guess they was feeling like, oh nah, this is regular, we gonna do this. They don't know that I was going through all of this internally, trying to figure out a way to get out of there. But I wound up doing it. I felt like they was pretty supportive, because we all just there. Yeah. We had people from the neighborhood, and then we shot the rest of that in Queens on Jamaica Avenue, down near the Coliseum, inside the Coliseum. Yeah. So
how long did it take you guys to make the video in whole, and what was the budget for the video at that time? What was the budget? Do you remember?
again, I'm just
You just there.
I'm just coming into this. I feel like I got forced into like you ain't going nowhere. Like get your butt over there and do that
Cap was
part.
like, I can't believe you guys are forcing me to be
For
around
real,
all these butter
for-
pecan
that's
Puerto
right.
Ricans and
Right.
chocolate
Yo, it was
deluxes,
crazy. I
like-
wanted to marry them all. There was so many.
It was so many.
I was like, wow.
And that's when
yo,
like
you know what I
women were
mean?
different back then too.
Yeah,
Bodies
yeah.
was real.
Yeah.
Like that,
It was like
real.
some model type of
Yeah, it was on and
It was a whole
popping.
different ball game then.
And then you got a deal, right? Like right after that?
Yeah, like right after that, I got a publishing deal, and I think it was like 60 grand. And again, like I said, I'm so oblivious to everything that's going on. You know, I get the check, and I'm from the street.
Yeah.
Right.
My hustle life, you know, it was all I knew, and all I know is I got a $60,000 check. I'm gonna go to the bank. I'm gonna cash this check, and I'm thinking, how do I want it? Am I gonna get like maybe 5,000 singles? Because we used to get the singles to make it look like we got
Right.
a lot of money in our pocket.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put some in here. Is this all gonna fit in my pocket? Like, I'm thinking,
This is regular stuff they
Yeah.
think now though.
Yeah, yeah.
This generation
I like-
is definitely thinking that now.
I was like 19, 20. I'm like, yo, maybe they're gonna bring me a briefcase or something, like bottle of champagne. I don't know. I watched too many movies.
Right. What year was this?
This is like had to be like 96, 97 or something like
Okay,
that.
I was 5 years old.
And see that part. So
And
now
how old were you? Do you remember how old you were?
I had to be about, let's see, like 19, 20, maybe 20.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money for back in that day. That's like $1 million for back then.
Right, but my thing is, I want it all. Give me my money.
Right.
I'm here to cash my check. I signed the back,
I
and
want
I'm
it
waiting
all.
for my money. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I didn't have no sense of banking or didn't know anything about banks. So it's not like I went to a known bank.
Right.
I went to Staten Island Savings Bank. It's probably one in the world because of Staten Island Savings Bank.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm waiting for my money. And, at that time, life was a little different for the minorities.
Mm-hmm.
So coming in there like this, I already feel threatened.
Especially in like Staten Island too,
Right.
which is like
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
a bunch of
They
like Italian
wonder,
people
where did
working
you
at the
get it
bank.
from?
Yeah.
I feel threatened already, even just
Right.
going in there, because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to cash this check. So I'm like, I'm kind of anticipating a little bit of, resistance as well. So they come back after I was waiting for a few minutes, and I'm like, they're like, you got a phone call. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's like, who's call? I'm like, I don't know. Who call? Who knows
Phone
I'm
call
here?
at the bank though?
Huh? A phone call. They telling me I got a phone
At the
call.
bank, it's
I'm like, who could
crazy.
this be? Because is this my parole officer? Is it the feds? Or like,
Right.
what did I do? Like, I just know somehow they're just going to take my money. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you can't have this money. And then it was Divine. It was Riz's brother on the phone. He's like, yo, man, what you doing, man? You trying to get me in trouble? You can't cash that check. I said, what do you mean? It's my check. It's my money. I want my money.
It's my money and I need it now.
I need it now.
He's like, yo, you got to open up an account. Now, of course, I didn't have no account at that time. Didn't know nothing about no account. Didn't want one. I want my check and the suitcase.
And the money in a bag.
Too.
Yeah.
Briefcase.
You
Right.
know what I mean? I want hundreds and 50s and 20s. So he's like, now you got to open up an account. I was like, an account? Like, there's nobody here. Like, there's nobody to coach me or tell me anything.
Right.
So I opened up a savings account, a checkings account, and I think a CD account or something like that. And at the end of it all, I'm leaving the bank with like $1,000.
Heartbroken.
Wow.
Yo, I was freaking heated, bro.
What happened to the money?
The $1,000.
No, the rest of the money.
They
the 59,000.
made me keep it over there.
Oh, so you couldn't go do what you
I
wanted to
couldn't
do,
go
which
do
was
it.
put it in
It's
the
like
mattress.
$60,000 check. They was like, yo, this is all we can clear for you right now. You know what I mean? So I'm like, wow, this is not new to me. I blow this on sneakers and jewelry. Like when I have
Right.
on the block, I can make $1,000 in the morning.
Right.
Not even a day. That's just in the morning. You know what I mean? So
At this point, did you quit the security job?
No, I like I told you before, I loved my job. I loved my job, man. You know, it was awesome, and I just had to come downstairs and go to work, put my uniform on, and I was selling belts and stuff like that, like little trinkets. But I was selling these belts that I used to go to 125th Street to get from this guy who, you know, was just a guy selling belts.
Right.
And Deck had gave me a Wu leather bomber. Let me wear his bomber. So I'm buying the belts off of the guy. He was like, yo, I know them. And he was like, yo, I make beats. And I was like, oh, that's dope, man. I said, yeah, man, that's my people. That's my people. And that guy wound up being True Master.
Yeah, who's like, he produced like if RZA didn't produce a Wu-Tang classic, it True Master based.
And he was the belt guy.
And a lot of
he was the belt guy. Yeah.
Now, what was the belts? Were they like
the
designer?
majority of the pillage?
Yeah.
He was the mastermind behind the pillars. Like he's the producer where I went to his house, met his moms, and we made beats, and you know we had the energy, we had a chemistry together that helped format that whole Pillage album, man. True Master, shout out to True Master, man.
That's so dope.
Whether for him it wouldn't be no Pillage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cool. So that was, look, you see how the ironic pieces is coming together?
Yeah.
You know, and even with and I was successful with the belts. Because the belts, I was going up there buying the belts off of him. It was like Gucci, Timberland, Guess, and Polo. And I was buying them off of him for $5. I was taking them back to Staten Island and selling them for $10.
Wow.
The demand got so high that I had to raise the price on the belts, and then I was going to get more belts in bulk from him. He didn't know what was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now I'm selling the belts for $20. So mind you, I'm getting them for $5.
Profit.
Selling them for $20, and then you know, the demand just kept getting higher and higher. And one day, I guess I bought all the belts that he had. So he was like, yo, I'll tell you where to get the belts. So I was like, all right. So he tells me where to get the belts from the spot. He was getting them from there only like $1.50, $1.25, bro.
Wow.
Now I'm selling the belts for $30. And I'm
now, were
getting
the
them,
belts real?
Yeah, they was belts. Just, you know.
But were they like real Gucci?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
But
it
rapping
didn't matter
at this time.
But you're and you're making Iron Man
during this time, but you're still security too.
Yeah, because
that's right.
still security.
Yeah. I got the bag near my desk just in case somebody
Right.
Yeah,
need that.
A man of many trades.
Wow.
But the belts was really nice. It was nice. They had like that the gold glittery thing. Some of them had the silver glittery thing, caramel color, black, brown. And they was going and you know, Timberland, you got the Timberlands on, you got the Timberland belt with the emblem on the belt, and it says Timberland all around the belt.
Oh yeah. I know niggas was clowning.
Yeah, they was on that. They was on it hard. I was on it hard too. That's how I discovered them. I was like, oh, those are dope. And then I went from there to expand my clothing line. I started getting short sets and leather visors, and you know, before you knew it, I bought my first car.
That's crazy.
Off of that stuff, you know what I mean? And just doing my job. A Monte Carlo.
That's cool.
A Monte Carlo.
What year?
I think it was burgundy with a rag top. I don't even remember what year it was. I didn't even know I could get a car.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had a license at the time. I remember I crashed though in front of the Apollo.
In front of the Apollo?
Yeah, I was trying to do a fishtail. Like drive out of your Apollo and
Like do a donut?
Yeah, like
we call it donuts.
Yeah,
out here.
make the back go swing around. Yeah. It was unsuccessful. The car just went around right into the bus stop, shattered the whole thing, sparks coming up on the side of the wheels. That was the end of my first car. I left it there, jumped out, got in the cab right there.
Not left it there. I know somebody that left the car somewhere.
So So then this is around the time you make like Winter Wars, and if people don't know, this is like considered one of the greatest verses in like rap history. Like, and then
Thank you.
But that was before Iron Man, right? Because it was for the "Don't Be a Menace to South Central," which you're gonna introduce the Hood soundtrack, right?
Yeah. It was in that soundtrack, and it might have been on the Iron Man album.
It was on the Iron Man album, definitely.
Right,
but I think
right.
it was out first because that was kind of like yeah.
Just got that double exposure. You know,
Yeah.
they wanted something different, I guess, for the movie, which was great because you know, when you're dealing with movie credits for music, they deal with you head on. You know what I mean? And as time went by, like I was already just grateful for being there, but there was a surprise check for about $30,000 for that. I think that was the biggest check I got for a movie soundtrack.
Do you remember anything about the recording of that song?
I remember being going to the Wu Mansion, I believe, and the beat was on, and I got in there, heard it, and just laid that down. I had pieced it together in my apartment. It was just a freestyle, and I had to write it down so I could remember it after that. Because I was like, oh man, what did I say? What did I say? Like, you know what I mean? It was crazy. I can't believe that I even did that. Yeah, it was just it was just coming bar after bar after bar. I think I had some old English 800 or something at that time. I wasn't smoking or nothing because I was probably still on parole, and I spit that. So when I went and did that rhyme at the studio, you know, I had to bounce too. I couldn't stay. I was still in and out the street, so I just did that and left.
And security too, right? Streets and security.
Doing it
That has
all,
to come
you
on the
know,
screen.
doing it all. You know, I just want to work, man. I don't want to go back to, you know,
Right, fully
the
back.
trap. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I'll do anything. I'll be homeless. I'll drive a cab. I don't want to go back to the trap. And
How did
that's
you get
that.
introduced to the trap originally? Like, tell us a little bit about the upbringing.
The trap, you know, that all started with one day I woke up in the hood, you know, my regular routine, and I go outside early in the morning. I have to rise up real early. I'm always up early, and I get out there. Sun is just coming up. It's probably about 7:30, 8 a.m. And I just start seeing like a lot of Jamaican people, like dudes.
Right.
Jamaican Rastafarians or whatever, dreadlocks. Some of them they had no shoes on. A lot of them was wearing these wallabies, these shoes right here, and they had big jewelry on, man, like bangles and rings and chains, just all gold teeth. And I'm like, yo, what the heck is going on here? Like, you know, these people, and I was intrigued over the patois, the way they spoke.
Right.
I was intrigued by the jewelry. You know, they had these little Maximum cars that was all hooked up. First time I started seeing rims, and,
Right.
you know, that's where all of that came from for me. You know, they had the rims and different color Maximas and all kind of fragrances coming out. So I was like, yo, how are they doing this? What are they doing? What, you know? And then I seen them hustling and people going to them, you know, exchanging. I'm like, yo, you know, what's going on? You know, what's up? You know, talking to them, and they was like, yo, you wanna hustle? You wanna make some money?
Right.
I was like, you bet.
And tell us the age again.
I was like 16.
16.
Yeah, like 15, 16, 17. Because by 17, I was in the can.
And so was it mostly just Jamaicans doing this around there?
Yeah. It was Jamaicans, and then they was putting everybody else on.
Okay. See, because I'm Trinidadian, so my grandma spoke patois.
Yeah.
I never got to actually meet her when I was like old enough because she passed when I was a baby, but I know about it. And then like my auntie grew up in the Trinidadian area of Brooklyn where everybody's Trini.
Right.
Then so I'm familiar.
Okay.
But not with that part.
Right. You know, these particular bad boys, you know, that's to me, that's where the bad boy term came in.
Right.
Bad boy, what you gonna do? I think about them.
You think about them.
Cause these dudes, man, and they didn't play, man, you know, cause in the hood, you know, on the crime side, like Ray said, we grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. You know, it was hustlers, but it was more like, you know, powder, pills, you know, for the older people, and that was a known hustle. Wasn't nothing that I indulged in. Weed was different. Weed was a hustle, but it was still just something that was a little bit normal.
Right.
So these guys bought hard
Crystal,
cocaine, crack.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that stuff was like
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Like I said, I could make $1,000 just in the morning before afternoon. You know what I mean? Afternoon is a whole nother 1,000.
And this is probably like, what would you say? What year this was?
This is like 86.
Like the height of the crack era.
Yeah, 86 or 88. Because I remember my number was 88B1713. That's
your jail number?
Yeah, that was 88B1317. And yeah, I was in there. I was in the can in Brooklyn House.
Right.
You know, in 1988.
And your charges was based off of the hustling and stuff.
That's right. That's right. I think I made a sale, or I made a sale to an undercover.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They was
like
called
TNT.
Shit. Yeah. Because, you know, at that age, I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm just getting the bag. And, I don't know, you know, anything. It's like everything was a learning experience as it's going down.
Right.
You know, now, okay, this is what they doing. So.
Right.
Was he a good undercover, or was he like, "What is up, son? Can you give me some of that Krizak?" Like,
it didn't really take a lot, man.
Oh, you want it? I got it. Yeah. I'm in jail.
Especially if you want 10, you know.
Right.
Oh, you want 10?
Oh, don't even worry about it. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Huh, got it right here. Snow right here, yo.
How old you think you were the first time you went to jail for that?
Oh, I was like 16, 17.
How long did you do?
I did a 1 to 3 was my first bid. 1 to 3. So that was like a year, because I had already served some time in Brooklyn House before they sentenced me.
Got you.
So thank God for that, because
you had time served.
Well, some of it.
Yeah, some of it.
While you were like running around Brooklyn, did you run into ODB like before rap, or how did you meet ODB?
Well, you're from Brooklyn, right? Originally, like you were born there.
Yeah, I'm from Bed-Stuy. I used to live 570 Kosciuszko. Very young age. Probably moved to Staten Island when I was maybe about 6.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where I met the majority of the clan, until, you know, we found out that we had certain ties and connects in Brooklyn. Then from there we would go back to Brooklyn, and I would meet some of their family. They would meet some of my family, you know. And even just to go back to Brooklyn to shop, because they had the Albee Square Mall, they had Fulton Street and all of that stuff, Flatbush, and, you know, areas where we used to shop. So we was in and out, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Staten Island. But I met Dirty on Staten Island, like the majority of the clan.
Okay.
Yeah, we all met on Staten Island, but we came from different places. Like Deck might from the Bronx, Meth from Long Island, you know what I mean? But Park Hill was just that hood, you know what I'm saying? It was just a whole strip of projects down there, 6 stories up, you know, and that's where the magic started happening.
And you met RZA through like Scotty Waddy, right? It was like kind of like a famous
I met RZA through because before, you know, there was 2 things. We was into the Supreme Mathematics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we used to exchange lessons and build. We used to call it building and cipher. We get in the cipher and build and speak on today's reality, and just certain facts about the earth,
right?
And you know, science. You know what I mean? At that age, and I think that's part of what gave us, you know, our freedom. You know, because we was able to free our mind. Yeah. You know, having that knowledge of self, you know, gave us the ability to rise above a lot of our shortcomings. You know what I mean? And that's how we met. We met in the ciphers, and from the mathematics, you know, we started applying that to our lyrical content.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
How did you get
And that's what really, that was the glue
Yeah.
that, you know.
The mental, for
that-
sure.
Yeah, that was the
You
glue.
can hear it
that-
in the music. The stuff
Yeah.
from then, what y'all was doing to what niggas is putting out now.
No, it's so
Come
smart.
on.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you read the Wu-Tang manual too, it's like one of
Like-
the most inspiring and intelligent books ever written about. Like, it's a philosophy book, really.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Riz is definitely, you know, before his time. I think a lot of us was, you know,
Definitely.
and even
Yeah,
the
for
fact
sure.
that we still together today,
Yeah.
when all the other groups are torn apart and gone. Like, long live the saga of the Wu, man,
Right.
because, you know, the only thing we have yet to bring forth is that Going Away album. I just felt like we needed just one more.
Right.
Especially with the tours that we've been doing ever since the New York State of my tour with Nas and, you know, Public Enemy and De La Soul. Like, we should have
Ooh,
definitely
shit. That's a lineup.
yeah and even more, like, we should have definitely had an album in the mix to that somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know,
What did you think? I always wanted to ask, like, about the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin thing. Did you think that was like kind of? It was like a Silver Rings project that somehow got sold as like a Wu-Tang album, right?
I only applaud it for the mystery that surrounded it.
Yeah.
You know, I believe if that would have been something that we would have developed,
Yeah.
oh, that could have been extraordinary. You know what I mean? But being that, you know, this guy had accumulated verses from times past,
Yeah.
and he formatted that and put it together and made something for himself that wound up still having to get notoriety from us because it's still our likeness. And
Oh, yeah.
you
It
know,
was like stolen valor a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Wait, he
It was
wasn't
like-
a part of Wu-Tang?
He's like Dutch.
no, he had options to present some of his tracks
Okay.
to RZA. RZA knew him probably better than the rest of us.
Right.
RZA worked with him. It was a guy that he did business with, and he, you know, he paid us individually for verses, you know,
Right.
which is natural. But the way he just put it all together and beefed it up into something that you would have thought that we had something to do
Yeah.
with.
Totally.
It's
Right.
diabolical.
Yeah, no, I think nobody really.
It's diabolical.
Nobody understood that until like after it had kind of already become like a PR kind of gimmick that like
Right.
was like Forbes magazine. You know, everyone was writing about.
Yeah, it was
Right.
crazy. The
Like-
whole scenario with the guy from the
Martin
pharmaceutical.
Shkreli
Yeah,
or-
Martin.
yeah, it was like so
It
weird.
just
And he got
got
locked up.
I mean that
Yeah,
actually. I mean that like ironically
Added
could be
to
an
the
incredible
mystery.
movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that because
Yeah.
like you're like what the fuck? Like yeah.
Yeah.
I was just say jumping around a little bit because you know like I'm such a fan of you know the Iron Man, the Pillage, like, and you're all over Iron Man. Like, what do you remember about like that moment? Like this like '96. Like you're like. You, Ray, and Ghost are really like of Only Built for Cuban Links. Like you're all over, you know, like those are the trinity within Wu at that moment.
Yeah, we definitely one of the dynamic duels, you know, or the trio, the dynamic trio, you know. But yeah, I think Ghost and Ray, more or less Ghost really, you know, looked up to me as an MC, you know, and our styles probably complement each other the most, and Ray, you know, because Ghost is from Stapleton,
Yeah.
so he was from another project, but Ray is from my project, so inevitably we always shared content and rap together in the staircase, or so be it. Our mothers knew each other, you know, and it just got to that point where they invited me into their world because, you know, like I said, they didn't need me. They was already very successful in what they was doing. I mean, they still had one of the best chemistries in the game to me as far as a duo. Besides Mobb Deep, shout out, rest in peace, of Prodigy. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Havoc and whatnot. And I was just listening to some Raekwon, Ghost, and Havoc and Prodigy, man. Magnificent music. Like their storytelling abilities and, street reality raps is insane.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Storytelling, all that.
So for them to invite me, I'm not really much of a storyteller like how they do it, but I'm grateful that I was able to fit into the category and to just be chosen, just to add my 2 cents, and to be welcomed into their chamber was honorable.
That's dope.
You know what else I wanted to ask about, which is a classic verse of yours, is have you ever heard Wu Wear the Garment Renaissance?
No.
Have you ever heard Wu Wear the Garment Renaissance? All right,
Rap it.
I could rap it, but I'm not going to rap it because I would ask Kappa to rap it if anything. But it was from the High School High soundtrack. Not a good movie, but actually a great soundtrack and an incredible song. And like I think a lot about this song because it was so genius because it's basically a commercial for Wu Wear. But it's the best commercial ever recorded. like what? And your verse is incredible because he's listing like every. I mean, you should tell it.
Yeah,
So you guys were rapping on a commercial?
No, it's a song.
It was a commercial song.
Oh, okay.
It was a big hit too. It was like all over.
But it was about Wu Wear. We always looked toward looking presentable.
Right.
As far as the culture and as far as hip hop, we always wanted to look the role. You know what I mean? Look the part per se. And garments meant a lot to us. We from the era, don't step on my sneakers. That's a fight. You know what I mean?
No, for real.
You put a mark on my kicks, you know what I mean? That was a fight. So and we worked hard, and so did our parents, even for the small things that we got as far as, garments and everything, Pumas and Adidas and all of that stuff. So we come from that era, and we just took it very serious. So by the time we had the Wu Wear fashion, which I believe was the first hip hop clothing, there had already been maybe some Naughty by Nature T-shirts.
Right.
Right.
They had
Like
naughty
that.
gear a little bit.
Yeah,
But it's like the difference between merch and like a clothing.
But like also,
Right. We had
Wu Wear took over
Wear,
everything.
you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
had
It was like a
Wu
whole
Wear,
thing, yeah.
and it was dope. We had a Wu Wear store on Staten Island, and fans used to come all the way from Europe just to go to that store. You know what I mean? And when I got a summons to do the Wu Wear song with none other than Method Man and the RZA. I mean, it was only 3 of us on that song.
Yeah.
And that was just insane. Like, again, where do I fit into all of this? Like, how is this possible? How is this happening? And that was definitely, again, I was still nervous in the booth at that time. All of this was happening, man. I was nervous in the booth because I'm like, yo, y'all really going to put my verse on it with y'all professionals, you know what I mean? And what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? These guys is dope.
Yeah.
And it just started coming to me. I was like Pele Egghead, the top dresser, the one-man catalog, the London Fog Casual Hog, Beard Denim with the Cash Rule, Nike and Kango King, everyday DLO jacket equipped with the drawstring.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Wow. I know a London Fog. Clock
right,
it.
Wow, that's right.
Clock
right.
it. And there ain't no cheap jacket.
I wouldn't even know where to get London Fog from now.
I know. I had seen some.
I
got
vintage
one.
store
Probably got an order.
Yeah,
Right
that's where I got mine. The one that I do have, I thrifted it.
Yeah.
For the new year, strictly.
Yeah,
Wu Wear.
man.
It's like,
Strictly Wu Wear.
you're like perfectly ended.
So
you know?
after rapping all that, at what point do you feel like a professional rapper? Because you still haven't said
like the pillage is going gold.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
you feel like-
you're already doing great. And
Are you
said
doing
still,
security at this point?
I'll take
I'm
that.
not.
I'll take that. Like I said, so after Killah, True Master came with these tracks, and we created this chemistry, and I did a lot of the Pillage album at the Wu Mansion, which was a blessing and I did some at the Firehouse with an engineer called Nolan, Dr. No, we used to call him, out of Manhattan, at the Firehouse Studios, and Fourth Disciple, Golden Fingers, these are some of the other participants on the production side. But it was great to be able to do these songs in the Wu Mansion And all of a sudden, Meth walks by.
Yeah.
What's going on in there? And he's like, "Oh, I like this." And he just come in and he's next thing you know, he's on the song. And this one go by, and they just was coming in there getting on the song. I didn't have to go ask nobody for anything or do anything, which has been a great challenge after the pillage. Like, I don't know if it was the success that caught everybody off guard. Even the fans was like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And it was a great album, and it was received pretty well. I went gold in like 2 weeks. I think that's another.
And that was hard copies back then. That wasn't streams.
That's right.
Let's clock that.
That's right. And I think that was a Wu-Tang record. Which I feel I should get some recognition for that.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I mean, Slang Editorial, Milk This Cow were like some of the greatest singles like of that era. Yeah.
What I want to know is, because I know like back then how people knew things about the industry is completely different. Are you still like making money currently off of all these records? Did you guys have the business and stuff in order, part of it?
I didn't know a thing about the business.
That's what I always wonder, because you hear
that
the
took
stories.
a lot of years. Yeah,
Okay.
it took a lot of years to even get a head start of information
Right.
about the music industry, because it was kind of like, it was gatekeeper information.
Right, exactly. Nobody wanted to tell nobody
That's
how
right.
to get
That's
it.
right. It was gatekeeper information. It was like the 10%,
Right.
the ones who had the knowledge and didn't share it.
Right.
But our bosses were also like brothers to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our faith in the fact that they would be fair and honest with us. So the little bit of things that we was learning in the business, we was learning from our brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which was RZA and Divine.
Right.
And then, as the years continue, we start to become a little more curious
Right.
on our own. So we started looking into different things about publishing and royalties and
Right. Like long-term money.
Yeah. So after a lot of us went and took our bread out the pot, as you would say. We took it out the pot and became a little more
Aware.
knowledgeable and independently thinking. And so a lot of us took out publishing and on our own, and then we started coming into a little bit more of our own, not much.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a little bit more. And I always was conflicted with that, because I love my bosses, man. I love my brothers, and I never wanted to have to look at them in any other kind of way.
Right.
So even with the disagreements and the numbers at times, I still was like, it was so much worse
Right.
when we wasn't living this life that
You didn't want to go back to it.
it didn't mean a lot.
Right.
It just didn't mean a lot, man. Like, I know if we was signed to a corporation, to the regular 9 to 5,
Right.
there's no way we can demand that we see the books. And
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
demand that any kind of information. You're getting fired, period. There's
Exactly.
no coming back, and then you can get blackballed from the workforce, period, because
Right.
they own everything. So it was a blessing to be able to get the little bit of transparency
That you did
in
get.
the business that we got. And sometimes you got to overlook the losses for a better chance at the resources.
Right. But you were able to like at a point make it right once you started to like kind of pay attention.
I can't say it'll ever be right.
Better.
You know what I mean?
Make it better.
That's right. Make it better. You know what I mean? Because it's
a lot.
business.
Right.
It's business.
At the end of the day.
And it's about buy and demand. And if if you don't have nothing to sell, there's no buy and there's no demand.
Right.
But we are pretty much independent now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But we still move also as a conglomerate.
Right.
And we're fed. We get fed, you know what I mean? And it's pretty much fair. We know that Method Man is more qualified because of his status. So yeah, he might deserve a little more. RZA's
Right.
gonna,
It's
you know
not
what
no
I mean?
like.
Yeah, that's dope though. There's
Yeah,
no
that-
like jealousy.
I
It's
love
like-
that for y'all.
Nah. It's
Yeah.
it's no jealousy there. It's probably just a little ego, but I don't see the jealousy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it always. Have you ever seen the show, the documentary of the show?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's like their Woo's like a big part of
Yeah,
it. It's
it's
like,
good.
yeah, I mean, look, when you have I'm sure when you have 9 guys, it's like,
That's right.
Yeah.
See, small disagreements.
yeah,
Right.
you can fight, you know.
You know,
Do you
but
feel
the
like-
saga continue.
Do you feel like that situation is kind of probably why like you had a falling out with RZA sometime in the 2000s?
I heard falling out before, and it's not a
You guys had a
doesn't fit our
disagreement.
characteristics. You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
guys had a
Falling
disagreement.
out is for relationships between you and your girl. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right.
We had a misunderstanding or a disagreement again, and you know, these things got to be worked on, continually,
Right.
You know, because the business is changing, we're changing, you know.
Right.
I'm a father and I'm a grandfather, you know what I mean,
Right.
at that, and we take the good with the bad, man. We take it how it comes, and you know, I'm able to talk to RZA. I'm able to look him in his eyes as a man, and we call each other on the phone. He'll pick up, you know what I mean?
Right.
He'll pick up, he answer my texts, you know, and that's the transparency I'm looking for, good or bad. The communication is everything. Let that be known for the record, for everybody, man. Like, no matter what you're dealing with, whether you're dealing with family, business, you know, it's just children, you know, brothers and sisters. It's just all about communication. Just say how you feel, man. Just, you know, don't hide it. You don't gotta hide it. Step to your business. Let them know how you feel. Because once you get that off your chest, man, it feels so good to have that transparency, bro.
Yeah.
That's what make the world go round.
I wanted to know what you thought about getting name dropped in the Drake song.
I felt
like,
on it.
yeah.
I felt on it because that's the new generation,
Yeah.
you know, and he was at the peak of his
Yeah,
success
nothing was the same,
at the time. You know, I don't even know where the energy came from
Yeah.
for him to do that. I don't know if he was, you know, maybe it was the Pills album or something he heard. Could have been the Winter Wars verse. I don't know, but I was so grateful for that. I just wanted to commend him. I was hoping that everybody heard it. You know what I mean? And I ran into Drake on I want to say it could have been the New York State of Mind tour or a tour before that, but I ran into him in Europe somewhere. We could have been in Sweden. I don't know, but we was at a restaurant.
Not y'all running into it in Sweden.
Yeah, well, we was there, the whole clan. We was at a restaurant having a dinner meeting, and I came downstairs to use the bathroom or something, and I seen Drake in there with his security guards. He must have just came in, and I was like, oh, wow, yo, what you doing down here? Yo, what's going on? You know, we all upstairs, you know what I mean? Like you know, you big Drake. I'm thinking, like, you supposed to have a room next door. Like, you
Right.
they got you on the bottom, yo. I'm like, nah. I said, yo, you want to meet? I said, yo, you want to, I said, yo, thanks for the shout out. I said, yo, how about, you know, we exchange numbers and do something? You know, let's do it, bro. Like, because that's the energy he gave me, like,
Right.
shouting me out, like, you wouldn't mind doing something with me.
Right.
And so he gave me a number, which wound up being a fake number. I wasn't happy about that because you already know how I feel about transparency.
Yeah.
Right.
Communication.
You
There's
know
no
what I mean?
communication with a fake number.
Because
Right.
he
Classic
could have.
Drake, man.
I would have rather him
Fucking
tell
classic
me
Drake.
I can't give out my number.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
No,
like
totally.
to communication, say
Yeah.
it, man. Don't, you know, if you say it, then you don't gotta get this now.
I
like
agree.
you did some buffoonery type shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Kendrick's points proven.
Yeah. So
Once again.
so after that, you know, I didn't held it against him like a big boulder, but it was
No, I
still
get it,
like,
yeah.
oh, come on, Drake, you
Yeah.
did that. Like, that's
Right.
You can't do
And-
that.
and
doesn't
Cappadonna.
he
You
have-
can't,
To the
you can't do it to
Yeah, you
Cappadonna.
can't
Like,
do
I-
that.
like,
And look, after that, after we exchanged the numbers, I said, now let me take you upstairs to meet the clan. So I took him upstairs, so he met the whole clan.
Wow.
And then there was still some talks. We did wind up doing a track. He sent the track in, but he sent it for, I guess, particular members of the Clan. I don't know
it was
if
like a remix or something.
Yeah, something
I
like
remember
that. But I don't
Yeah.
think it got the light that it. That
I
it
didn't
was.
listen to it because the Wu-Tang Forever songs. I started like listening to the first day because I was like, this isn't the Wu-Tang energy I'm looking for.
Yeah, it
That
was.
like-
It went somewhere else.
it was like,
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like raw, really raw.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. You know.
Yeah.
That was kind of confusing now that I think about it. Like the track like itself, like the production, everything was fire.
Right.
But then it's also like, it's yours, nobody else.
Well, I mean, like, I think.
Oh wait, that's that one.
I shoot the rap in the back.
Wu-Tang's on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like.
Killed that.
Who's on it? Tell me who's on it, because I know that one.
Yeah.
You know, Ray and Ghost probably got to be. I don't know, yo.
Leatherman, you on
I
it?
think Drake might have been on there. I don't know. I think Meth bowed out gracefully. He was like, nah, I'm not getting involved in this. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
but
So funny.
yeah, it was definitely you know, it was cute.
I'm gonna say, well, we're like in that vein. We do a segment like on every episode called like an Unpopular Truth, which is sort of like what is something that is very true to you, but maybe the rest of the world doesn't acknowledge as true, but you know in your heart of hearts to be accurate.
I'll say God, because I put God first in everything I do, man. And you know, a lot of people, you know, they these days it seems like everybody has their own God. You know, whether it be some kind of cult, whether it be some kind of voodoo or witchcraft, or you know,
A lot of times it's celebrities.
gang, you
yeah.
know, gang banging, you know, some the trap people. I don't know. It seems like they all, because you know, some things are so mysterious that you be like, God is not.
Yeah.
He's not.
There's no God in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't tell him that because now it's a war. You know what I mean? There's so many different variations of religion. You know, if you're a Christian, oh, you're mad at the Muslims, you're a Muslim, the Protestants, and this Israelite. And then I know some Israelites that never been to Israel. You know what I mean?
You'd
I know,
think that you'd be saved up for a trip.
Right. You think
That
that?
would be like, you know, it's like if you're really into anime, you go to Japan.
you
Right.
know?
You know?
I've been to Mecca on the tour. I went to the Kaaba. You know,
Did you
and
do your pilgrimage?
I did the pilgrimage.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
alright.
And that's one of the 5 pillars. And I guess the Christianity or Catholic, whatever you call it, I got baptized in 1977. You know, and that felt good. Everything, you know, felt good, and it was a learning experience. But you know, God is within.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it deals to me, you know, just having that knowledge of yourself.
Right.
You know, the more you know about yourself, the more in tune you become with God. And
Right.
I think like that's the biggest truth that anybody could stand on right now. Because in the beginning of your life and all of our life, we just babies, man, knowing nothing. And in the end, we leave with that same energy, having accomplished all that we accomplished in the houses and the cars and all of this luxury stuff that you can't take with you.
Right.
You didn't come here with it. You're not taking it back with you. It's going to be here. I've seen so many abandoned mansions. Even Neverland is abandoned.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you know, I've been to Nelson Mandela House. These things is museums now.
Right.
Yeah.
That you could just walk through and there's nobody there and it's old furniture that they salvaged and tried to, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just nothing, man. Just the only, you know, the greatest thing is our contribution, is our word. You know, in the beginning was the word. And God saw that the word was good, and then the word became flesh again, solidifying that we are the living word, the living truth, man, woman, and child. You know, so that's the best. That's why I named my company God Love Family, and my clothing line God Love Family, because there's nothing above, beneath, below, or to the left or to the right of that. It's one solid thing, one solid life. The one thing that you can be assured if you're in existence.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so real.
When you did your pilgrimage, did you pray on Mount Arafat?
Yes, I prayed on Mount Arafat.
What did you
I
pray
did.
for? And did it come true?
I most of my prayers always come true. You know, in due time and in due season. You know, God's not gonna give you nothing that you're not ready for.
Right.
You got to learn how to drive before you can drive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I pray mostly for clarity. I pray for discernment. You know, to being able to avoid any mishaps. I pray for protection. I pray for prosperity, good health. I do a lot of praying for homeless and poor people, especially when I'm eating the meal.
Right.
You know, I pray that they find a good meal tonight and a good place to rest their head. And you know, not just even just being able to say it, but, you know, sometime I'll go look for them.
Right.
And to my choice, feed whoever I'm led to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be in any walks of the world. I did a video out here during the pandemic, you know, me and Killah Priest, and it was just about, you know, appreciating the life that God gave us, man, and appreciating it more abundantly. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So those are my prayers, and I write a lot of my prayers down.
Yeah.
I write God letters. I have a lot of letters that I wrote to God. I guess I picked up that energy from David because he's the psalmist. They call him the chief musician. So, you know, as I'm studying the word and learning about the chief musician, I'm like, wow, why does that sound like me? I'm you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a musician and I feel like a chief. I'm one of the chiefs. You know what I mean? Generals,
Right.
or whatever, Shaolin generals. So I'm a chief, and and when I go back to the letters that I wrote, some of them are from 2000, and I can see there's a document now in the receipt of all my prayers that were answered. Even if I didn't know then, I know now. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, look.
I did pray for that.
Look at this, man. I got the Benz or something. I got the this and that, and you know what I mean? And it's going well, man. You know, not bad for somebody who, you know, had challenges with school and came up in special ed and all of these titles and things, you know what I mean? And you know, now I'm definitely special ed. Special.
No, for real.
I got special education, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I asked because I know like the importance of praying on that mountain.
You know, now when somebody asks me, well, what's your religion? I know that they're trying to catch me in a situation. Because like I said, if you're this, these people don't like you. If you're this, these people don't like you. So when they say, well, what's your religion? I just say simply, I'm a man of God. And
I say that too.
I'm a man of God. That's the religion of true faith. That's the one. That's the oneness of God, being a man of God.
Wow.
Yeah. Or a woman, or a child.
Right.
You know?
In your journey, was there like any incidents that catalyzed kind of this path for you, or was it always just like a gradual evolution?
It's kind of hard to say. Like I said, when you start reflecting on your inner being, that these ideologies come to you. You know, because everything come to the Son of Man. For our pleasure and enjoyment, whatever we think of, we create. Microphones, tables, clubs, buttons, bells, everything that you see, everything that exists came from a thought. And man created that for his pleasure and enjoyment. He said, he looked at a bird and said, I want to fly. I want to fly, and came up with various ways to fly. Not just a plane. You have hovercrafts and all kinds of things that whatever the mind can conceive, then you can achieve. You know what I mean? So that right there is like when you going in, like my God-given natural ability to be able to write these rhymes and mimic other people and to create my own flow and my own word and my own testimony is a testimony to what we can achieve, you know, at one's own speed.
That's cool. And for the new album, like Solar Eclipse, like tell me how like these kind of thoughts and philosophies kind of were poured into this record.
the solar eclipse came from me wanting to please God. You know, I want to tell my story. I don't want to tell it. I don't want to tell a bad story. I want my story to be based upon truths, things that I experienced, things that I've seen and been through and came through. And solar eclipse is when the moon comes between the sun and the earth, you know, causing a temporary sentiment of darkness for an appointed time, not forever, but just for that time, proving that in the darkness the light is there, and once that darkness is overcame, then the light will shine through. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm coming through that darkness, man, and into that light, you know, to bring that light to the people, you know, something more than just, you know, rap. It's reason.
Damn. I think that's a perfect way
That's
to end.
incredible.
I don't think we can top that. So,
But I do want to know though, before you go, how do you feel about this generations of hip hop? Like compared to like how you came up and just shit being so real and authentic. You guys are really talking about stuff you're doing, living a different lifestyle while doing it. And a lot of people nowadays don't have that same sense. Like, how do you feel about music now where it's at?
Well, it's funny that you said that, because I had to do a little quote this morning for the album, and the first thing I said, well, what generation is this? and I asked He's like, oh well, let me Google, because I said, is this generation X? Is it O? He said, so he Googled it, and it said that this is generation Beta.
Oh. Is that a new one?
saying the one being born right now.
Google that.
The one being born.
You know what I mean? So it's a generation Beta, and when I think Alpha is male and Beta is female, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So I guess this is a feminine era. Tight,
Oh yeah, for sure. Y'all sassy.
tight jeans.
Sassy as fuck.
You know, it's a lot of you know, I don't, mixed gender.
Yeah, fingernail painting.
Going on, you know what I mean? You got to be careful with your wording when you speak upon those sentimental things, and I get it, and I just want to tell him, like, you know, I just gave it to him like I gave you. I said, you know, in these times of Beta, there will be darkness. You know, there will, and it's just another way of saying there will be challenges, but with perseverance, we'll get through it, man.
Oh, yeah.
If that's your will.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cappadonna.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much for
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
by and
You
telling
feel
us
like
your
I'm
stories.
infinitely wiser.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel in charge.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Awesome, man.
Truth hurts.
Truth hurts.
Yeah,
shout out to
out.
Gold Diggers.
Shout out to Wu-Tang. Shout out
Yeah,
to
shout
Digital
out to
Dice,
Wu-Tang.
Banji, all my participants. Shout out to M80 and everybody on the Solar Eclipse Project, Cheddar Bang. You know what I'm saying? So many, man. Shout out to everybody on the album. I love y'all, man. And let's get ready for part 2. I think part 2 gonna be daylight savings time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep everything universal law from here
Yep.
on out.
Awesome.
Yeah. Peace.